Happy sunny Sunday. So thanks for joining in. Let's jump right in. Welcome again to our almost weekly get-together. And let's talk about some things going on in the world. There is, as everybody knows, a tremendous amount of unrest throughout the world. And it's not anything new, except for the sheer numbers of people who are ill at ease. That is, the vast majority of people on this planet, not just in this country, are unsettled and not in agreement with what is happening with respect to all sorts of things, mandates being probably the biggest thing. There's another large group that is totally in alignment with all of it, in particular the mandates. Then there are the supply chain interruptions that are not accidental, but are not reported as such, if reported at all. Therefore, most people are not even aware of this particular event going on. So this creates a scenario in which not only are people at odds with their officials and seeming authorities, but people are at odds with other people, their neighbors, their families, their friends, co-workers, associates, you name it. There is right now the perfect storm that is brewing and has been brewing strongly for the past year and a half. The biggest issue this time around is the vaccination and the rights of the people to choose for themselves. Very interestingly, no matter what side of the story you choose, the majority of the information is coming from the news media. And again, whether you agree with the mandates or not, it has to be obvious to even the least observant person that mainstream news is in agreement across the board for the first time ever on any subject. And that agreement is that everyone should get vaccinated. So whether we listen to ABC or CBS or NBC or CNBC or MSNBC or NPR or even CNN or Fox, who are always on opposite sides, the news media is saying the same thing: get vaccinated. That in itself should be a wake-up call for many. Now, to those who agree with that which is espoused by mainstream media, that vaccines are the answer, this is good news. To those that disagree, this is bad news. To those who listen to alternative news and follow the contrarian viewpoint of mainstream news, they are delighted to hear of the steps being taken by the opposition in fighting the vax mandates. Of course, their delight is the other side's dissatisfaction. Regardless of what side anyone takes, there is certainly discomfort, to put it mildly. There is irritation, apprehension, agitation. There's turmoil, anger, chaos. People are frustrated. There's an attitude of, I've had enough of this already. Let's just go back to normal. That'll never happen, where the normal is what it used to be. There's rage, there's confusion, fear, ill temper, fury, vengefulness, and even delight in the form of spite by those who think that their side is winning. That's a sick mind that thinks that way, or any of the ways. But I think we would all agree that people are experiencing many of the feelings I just mentioned. So if anyone is feeling these feelings, I venture to say you're not going about this very smartly. Not only are you getting upset, but you are falling right into the trap that has been set. Now, whether you believe there's something more nefarious going on here than the vaccination itself doesn't matter. What does have import, however, is how we each respond to what is going on. Generally, I do not involve myself with the news and haven't over the past at least 20, 25 years because I recognize what it is. It's a joke, a sick joke, but it's a joke. It's laughable. I laugh at most of what shows up on the news. Why? The news exists to generate fear. The news does not exist to tell us the truth about what is going on. The news has not been telling us the truth for decades. They want ratings, and they will spin and twist and slant any way they can to make whatever they present sound believable enough even though it is far from the original story and thus far from the truth, yet close enough that we will never be able to discern between truth and falsity. So why are you walking away from the news either angry or shaking your head in disgust if you even watch the news? So for those of you who see this and follow the news, especially the stations I mentioned a moment ago, the joke's on you if you're getting upset. They got you. You are choosing to be upset by allowing yourself to get upset by programming, the news programs that are designed to make you upset. So I have to ask, what are you thinking? This is a big dumb moment if you are allowing yourself to be enraged by anything that's going out in the world. Now, you've heard me speak on this program for over a year now on various topics. And one of them, besides forgiveness, that I've mentioned over and over and over, is the illusion, aka the dream. And I have mentioned that you may want to consider that the world you see is nothing but part of your dream, and thus holds nothing you want, because we are not the best script writers. We are the writers of this dream, and we have not done a good job. We've written some awful plays in the roles we have played here on the stage of life. We've written some really good ones, and that keeps us interested in thinking, we can move forward in this world. And it's just but an illusion. Our only purpose for being in a world of time and space is to teach us there is no world of time and space. Heck, even many quantum physicists have come to that conclusion through science, without even going through the vehicle of spirituality. The world's only purpose is to provide us with the opportunity of choosing the holy instant, the moment of now, in which the ego thought system becomes non-existent and finally chosen against, because we finally see an alternative and we hear only God's voice. The only time we can escape from the ego is by being in the present moment. When are we in the present moment? When we quiet ourselves. Meditation, not thinking while sitting with eyes closed, but actually meditating while our eyes are closed, is the way. Now, what we value, we make part of us. We value everything we have. The clearest example of this is the body. We value it. We believe we are the body. We value it perhaps more than anything else. We value it because it is the specific onto which we can cast or project the mind's unconscious guilt. And that detracts us from remembering who we really are. We are not the body, everyone. And we have to begin to continue to focus in on the unconscious guilt that we all carry, that we are not even aware of because it is subconscious. But thinking that we are the body focuses all our attention on the body, especially when we have physical problems and issues. With all of our attention focused in on this thing that we call the body, we lose the memory of our identity as a mind, and thus as a spiritual being. To us, the body has great value, and as we value it, we become it. We become what we value. Now, all things we seek to make our value greater limits us, hides our worth from us, and adds another bar right across the door that leads to true awareness of our real self. As long as we believe the world is real and we are a body, we will never return to the mind's thoughts that are the real issue. So that you don't think this is too crazy, this is where I'm going to refer you to the Vedas, the oldest known books on the planet. The Bhagavad Gita, the most widely read book on the planet. The Vedanta philosophy, in particular Advaita Vedanta. The works of Plato, the writings of Shakespeare, or Dr. David Hawkins, or Gary Renard, and many others. And of course, A Course in Miracles, from which I draw most of my material. They all speak about the fact. This is not a guess, this is not a postulation. They all speak about the fact that we are not a body, that this so-called life is but an illusion, a dream, and to not get too caught up in all the stories and dramas. Let nothing that relates to body thoughts delay progress towards total forgiveness. Nothing here is to be cherished in this world of time and space. It is all illusory. And boy, does that go against our beliefs, because every one of us have certain things we just love. Nothing here is worth one instant of delay and pain, or one moment of uncertainty and doubt. The worthless, the ego, offers nothing. We repeatedly are reminded that everything in this world is worth nothing by the many different disappointing events in our lives, both individually and collectively. In fact, the world is literally nothing, being a projection of a thought in our wrong mind. That is itself inherently nothing. Remember, the ego thought system, which most of us base our entire life upon, is totally made up. Now, I know what I am saying is offensive to most, but only by recognizing this will we be motivated to give up the innate worthlessness of the world. Again, the problem lies with the values we have given to the world. When we withdraw the purpose we have given to the world, it becomes purposeless, and we see clearly. Our hearts then open, and the world of special relationships becomes a classroom instead of a problem, in which we learn lessons of forgiveness. We, the decision-making part of us, choose forgiveness at the level of spirit instead of the depth of the ego's guilt. In doing so, our perspective, our perception changes. Not necessarily the world nor the behaviors in the world change, but our perceptions and our perspective of the world. Our attitude changes because we no longer see the world as before, because we no longer value the world as before. The key to doing all of this is spending quiet time alone every single day for at least 15 minutes to 60 minutes with spirit, or with Jesus, or with Buddha, or with your higher self, your Atma, and doing it twice a day. Sitting down for 15 minutes twice a day, spending quiet time alone. Now, most of the people on this planet cannot do that at all. We have to stay busy because we are too nervous, we are too stressed out to sit down, and we don't want to hear what we have to say when we sit down and try to quiet ourselves. We sit down, we close our eyes, and all the crap comes up. Well, big deal. It comes up for everybody. Get over it and get over yourself, your ego self, and start to quiet yourself, because you are the problem and you are the solution. So when we finish our quiet time, and we've done this long enough, months and months and years, we can take the essence of the love and peacefulness that we finally feel very strongly, and it's gained through inner contemplation. We can take it back to the world and everyone we interact with. If we take the time by ourselves and consistently do this, there will be a shift within and all around us, because we will now have another teacher instead of the ego. Our attention does not belong in the world, but in our mind, our right mind, where spirit resides. And we must learn to be fastidious about mind wandering, as we are all way too tolerant of such, and therefore most of us have no discipline or very little. We allow our minds to wander into the world, believing that's where the problem is, and the truth as well. But nothing is out there, it's all inside. Wake up. We do that, we start to go outside, we start to see others, and we see our others that attract us, and our focus then wanders back to the body once again, which we now believe to be ourself, with its pressing needs that demand attention. But we are not the body, and we do not belong in the body, but in the right mind, the place of rest that reflects heaven's truth within the dream. So as we go through our day and we are tempted to be upset, we need to realize as quickly as we can that we have placed a value on something in the world, which is why we got upset. As soon as we become aware of this, that is our decision to choose the ego and hence get upset. We need to go to the quiet place of rest in our mind, even if but for a few seconds, and ask for help of spirit. And if you are not adept at doing this, with eyes closed or with eyes open, and just going within while in conversation with another or while in traffic and you're starting to get upset, then you need to meditate and practice this, because this should be something you perfect in your life. Protect your mind throughout the day. And when you think you see some value in something in the world, do not go there. Do not put that chain around your mind. Instead, say to yourself with quiet certainty, this will not tempt me. The world I see holds nothing I want. But our words mean nothing if we do not practice them daily, day in and day out. So practice we must. I hope you have a great day. It is going to be gorgeous out there. And I will see you next time, hopefully next week.